iostudy.net.
Hello everyone, this is Danielle, and in this video we're going to talk about the English grammar rules for using comparisons. 2. So as you can see here in our mind map, we have 4 different ways we can talk about comparisons. First, we'll talk about that we can use these words: much, a lot, a bit, far, a lot. And we can use any and no plus comparatives. We can also use harder and harder, more and more, etc. Finally, the. Okay, so let's explain these. Let's first talk about we can use much, a lot, a bit, far, and a lot. So here are some examples of using these. So let's go by car. It's much cheaper. And don't go by train. It's a lot more expensive. Finally, could you speak a bit more slowly? So in all of these sentences, we're using the examples: much, a lot, a bit, far, a lot, to compare. So now let's go on to use any and no plus comparatives. So here are some examples of doing that. First, I've waited long enough. I'm not waiting any longer. And here's another example. Yesterday you said you felt ill. Do you feel any better today? And finally, this hotel is better than the other one, and it's no more expensive. So as you can see here, in all of these examples, we are using any and no plus the comparative. Okay, so there's that rule for any and no plus the comparative. Now let's go on to the second half of the mind map and talk about harder and harder, more and more, etc. So for example, using this rule, it's becoming harder and harder to find a job. And these days, more and more people are learning English. So as you can see here, we repeat the word to show a comparison of what is happening. Harder and harder, more and more. Okay, so there's that rule. Now let's go to the. So we use the to say one thing depends on another thing. Now let's look at some examples. The warmer the weather is, the better I feel. And the more expensive the hotel is, the better the service. So as you can see here, we're using the and the to compare and to say that one thing depends on another. Okay, so here is your completed mind map for comparison 2. You can always come back to this to refer to in the future. So now, once you're ready, we'll go to the outline here. So if you want to find comparisons, you want to go to adjectives and adverbs and comparison 2. So here you have the outline for comparison 2. So now you can read through this to find more information on how to use comparatives correctly in English grammar. You can also find more examples of sentences here. So when you're finished reading through the mind map and the outline, you can go ahead and click here to take the test. And in the next video, we will take the test together. So thanks for joining me in this video where we learned about English grammar rules for comparison 2. And I will see you in our next video. Goodbye!